In a participatory democracy, it requires we get up off the couch and actually serve. And, and I want to thank every one of you. When I scan the crowd here, I am looking at the Hall of Fame of the civic crazy people. And you know, I do believe that this is like this is a crazies club, right? Everybody here is crazy about Dedham, and you're crazy enough to spend countless hours and days and nights and weekends that people don't realize. There are the televised events that people are supposed to show up for, and we all show up for, and then there are all of the other ones. When you see the light on a town hall or at the Endicott estate that are burning late into the night, little do people realize, the 23,000 people that benefit from all the work that everybody in this room does, that it actually requires huge sacrifice. And I remember 3 years ago, the dark clouds were rolling in at a recession. And people were saying at work, they said, "You're thinking of doing what? Now? At the beginning of a recession? And it looks like it's going to be really, really bad." And it did give me pause, because I actually have payroll to meet in several different locations. And you have to think carefully, because those are paychecks and mortgages and rent checks and livelihoods that are on my docket. And after careful thought and consideration, and talking with many of you around this room, I actually said, yes, I want to try to do this. And it was a wild race, very, very exciting, and truly some of the best days of my life were in that campaign. And I remember on April 13th of 3 years ago, can anybody believe it was 3 years ago? You know, the idea that 3 years lay ahead. And I have to say, I just wanted to point out my colleagues in the Board of Selectmen, because people know what a dysfunctional board looks like, and people know what functional boards look like, and I am proud to say that I am in a highly functional board, and it's just so excited to have smart, dedicated, strategic people who are working together, and who are also really good listeners, who agreed with crazy ideas that Sarah and I had about maybe having an email that would reach all of us at once, no matter when, night and day. And the Town Works newsletter that goes out and reaches everybody. So we push news out instead of people having to wade through a labyrinthine website looking for information. We actually try and communicate. So the good news is, over the last 3 years, with the vision that we had and the strategic leadership that we had, we actually have continued to set out goals, and actually through some really data-driven people on our board, Sarah McDonald and Jim McDonald and Mike Butler and the so passionate Carmen Del Iacono, we actually have held ourselves accountable to that list. Anybody can take a look at that goals list and actually see, are they doing anything? What did they say they were going to do? And when are they going to do it by? So that's the other thing that I'm proud of, that we actually are putting the plan out and holding ourselves accountable. And one day, we too shall pass, and hopefully the legacy that we leave behind is a template for the way you do business today. That you're transparent, that you know what we're doing, and we are serving you, and you know what we're doing, and you can actually be in touch with us. And if you have a concern, this is I joke often that this is the type A club. When you send an email to the Board of Selectmen, fresh ideas at dedham-ma.gov, I think it's 2 to 3 minutes before at least one selectman pounces on the job. So I'm energized about what lays ahead, because the exciting thing is, while 3 years allowed me personally to join the effort and continue to lay out all the good work and continue to do the strategic planning and the tactical day-to-day stuff, we have so much to do ahead. And things ranging from what do we do to make our libraries 5-star libraries? What are we doing about revitalizing East Dedham? I'm working with Karen O'Connell on a plan to explore an arts culture district overlay for East Dedham to help revitalize that. I'm on the Avery Reuse Committee with Charlie Kruger and Joe Heisler and a bunch of wonderful people from East Dedham and around town to think about, rather than possibly tear down a building, which is on, that's possible. Are there more creative ways that we can reuse that property to continue to build the East Dedham story, which is, I believe, in the next 5 years is going to be a real renaissance story for Dedham. I'm also very excited about all of the civic-powered groups that are sprouting around town, from the Oakdale Star Alliance to Dedham Square Circle and the Manor Watch. Who am I forgetting?
Mother Brook.
Oh, Mother Brook Community Group. I am sorry. And the libraries. All of the different civic groups are actually understanding that it's actually we, the people, that control things, but it takes everybody's participation to make this thing work. There are also a whole list of infrastructure problems, and I know that I've been asked by our friends from the media, which infrastructure projects do you support? I actually support all of them, right? There's nothing on that list, from a fire and safety campus to state-of-the-art libraries, a senior community center. All of those things are incredibly important. I remember Robin Race once saying at a finance meeting, these are not choices to say which one we won't do. We will do all of them, but it actually takes planned, strategic blueprint to make sure that we attend to all of them. And with the financial management we have in Town Hall, we will actually get to all of these things. And I do appreciate everybody's patience as we put those plans together, but we will get them done. And we've proven, when somebody said that there was no way that the new Avery School would be built. And remember when we were all launching that, and people said, no way, especially not as the recession is setting in. But this town, in the middle of one of the worst economic recessions in modern history, actually decided that education was that important. And education in East Dedham, that would be an anchor point for kids in East Dedham and create a state-of-the-art learning campus. So when people tell us that we are unrealistically optimistic, which we are, we actually, guess what? Prove that it can be done. And it's only done, again, because we look around the room and every single person in this room has something to do with the success story that is Dedham. And it is a success story. I mean, I do love to serve on a board and love to work with an administration that actually can report really good news during really bad times. When we got the AA+ bond rating from Standard & Poor's in the middle of all of this crazy recession, that is something to be proud of. When Dedham actually tied with Newburyport, being number 4 with the Commonwealth Capital Score, that was something to be proud of. We actually got 113 points out of 140. I think 4 years ago we were at 77 points. And there are 33 regulatory guidelines that you have to go through to get that score. So I'm really proud of that. The payment management plan, the PCI index. I just recently heard at the latest selectmen meeting that we are within nipping distance of the Disney rating of the PCI index of 85, I think. I mean, if our roads are as good as Disney's roads in 5 years, I will just. And I know we're not there yet, but we actually have a plan. Again, it's a strategic blueprint, and you get the plan and you work the plan, and make sure that everybody knows what the plan is. So no hidden secrets. The plan is out there. And the other thing, I remember being asked, I think it was on Greg's show, wherever Greg Agnew is, being asked about the sewers in Dedham. And I don't think I knew anything about sewer engineering 3 years ago. and I quickly learned a lot about sewer engineering. Does anybody know what I&I is? Raise your hand if you know what I&I is. There are actually 5 people in this room who know what I&I is. It's infiltration and inflow, or inflow infiltration. We have all of these pipes running through our town, right, that are supposed to bring water in and take water out. Actually, there's good water that's supposed to be in there and other water that's not supposed to be. But when there are cracks in those pipes, lots of water comes in, and I think it's something like 350,000 gallons per day that were flowing into our sewers. Guess how MWR charges us? By the amount of inflow we have in our pipes. So we actually get charged for all the water that's flowing into those pipes. And we decided as a town that actually it was worth spending the money. Yes, you sometimes have to spend the money to fix these problems. And guess what? I think since FY 2007, we have saved over $5 million, I think it's close to $6 million in the charges that we were being charged for water that really wasn't our problem. So smart people who are deciding that, do you know what, there are places and times that it is prudent to spend the money. When you spend the money at the right time, in the right places, guess what, you have the payoff. And that's exciting for me as a manager of a business. I look at stuff in my business that works and doesn't work. And guess what? You modify those things, and I work with my team, really smart people, who tell me when it doesn't make sense. And that's what I love about this team. We have tremendously talented people. I see David Martin over there, one of the finance gurus, and having Jim McDonald having his ear to the ground on all of the state finances. We are so lucky to have this many smart people actually building this blueprint. I will shut up really, really soon, I promise. And I do want to give a shout out to our town administrator, Bill Keegan, and Nancy Baker, who is, I think, our official mayor of Dedham, and just an increasingly professional team at Town Hall. The amount of work that they do to build out this blueprint and work the plan is really incredible, and we do get to reap the benefits of it, but it is, again, countless days, nights, and weekends, and we know all of those people show up at times and places when they probably should be spending time with their families, and but they do it because they care. They're also crazy about them. So I am wrapping this up, but I do want to thank one particular group in particular, and I believe the head of that group is here tonight, and that is the head of my family, Janet Reynolds. Where's Janet? Because that was one of those conversations that you have when you're about to throw your hat in the ring, and you start doing the reality check, and we had the family meeting to say, you realize what's going to happen. I don't think any of us realized exactly how much time we would sacrifice, but we sat down, and Janet was so supportive right from the get-go, and there have been so many nights, countless nights and weekends and interrupted family moments where I had to take the phone call for for this town, and she never complains. And I think well, maybe she does complain. Okay, she does complain. Yeah. But certainly not enough, because guess what? I actually had another conversation say, now you know exactly what happened over the last 3 years. Should I do this again? And 3 years ago I was completely naive, thank God, because I actually was crazy enough to do this. And then we sat down, and she did without any fuss, and you can ask her, said yes. And it means such a great deal to me, because there are so many, that personally, that is one of those things. I have 3 boys, 18, 16, and 12, and they need their dad. And Janet needs her husband, and I need Janet, but the net out of all of this has been such a gratifying and nourishing experience, because for as much sacrifice as it has been so nourishing. And I look around this room at all of the people that I have worked with And I know that together we're making a difference. I can look back, hopefully if I have the honor and privilege to serve for 3 more years, that it will have been worth it. So thank you so much for coming tonight.